Alright, so here we go.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another video.
Okay, so today's video, I'm going to just be reacting to Plank Roofing's video on how to install metal roofing. This thing got 380,000 views. I'm curious as to what he has to say. Just gonna, I'm not here to, bash or beat people up, but let's just see how Plank Roofing does it.
Today we're going to be talking about kind of the basics of how to install a metal roof. So first of all, if you're installing a metal roof over top of an existing roof, you got to determine whether or not you have to take the shingles off. Most of the time in our state here, the code is you can go over 2 layers of shingles, but if it's...
Whoa, 2 layers, holy smokes. I mean, if you look up in here, off to the left here, you're seeing some, questionable areas that they're just going to put metal over. I'm a big fan of just tearing it off, but I get it. It's a selling feature. This is, what the hell's going on here? So this screw line's like bugging the shit out of me. Is that on an angle? Anyways, okay, so they're going over two layers.
3 layers, you have to tear it off.
I'm a big fan of ripping it off, to see what's under there.
If you're doing a metal roof like this, where you put 1x4s down.
I'm also, like, this whole horizontal strapping, like, it's not ventilating anything, right? So I know what I do in this circumstance. I put direct to shingle. Like, if I'm not gonna rip the shingle, I'll put it right on the shingle, but I'll put a separation paper so the metal isn't rubbing against the granulars of the old shingles. Nothing wrong with doing this, honestly. You want to have this metal sitting on a continuous substrate rather than having these 1x4s. This is just from my experience. I know a ton of guys love doing this. One positive to having 1x4 strapping is that you can aim your nails at the trusses inside and have a 100% healthy substrate to screw to. So that's pretty cool. So there are some benefits, but like what I see here is condensation getting trapped in here and rot. And I know you guys are going to throw it in the comments. Oh yeah, I've pulled roofs off with the perfect wood. I've also pulled old roofs off with disintegrated wood, right? So when you trap air, it's not good.
It's considered a standalone roof system, so you can go right over top of the shingles. And for spacing on your 1x4s, generally we go about 16 to 20 inches in between, depending on how steep the roof is.
29 gauge, I'd like them to be a little tighter. Well, wait a minute. What? The steeper the roof pitch, the further apart you can space. 1x4 is up to 24 inch on center. Okay.
Because if you run them too far apart and you step on a rib like this, you can't actually buckle that, and you don't want that. So
snow's not gonna do it, but walking up there will.
And what we like to do is we'll take the old drip edge off the bottom. Sometimes you can just tear it off and then cut the shingles back flush with the fascia. And the reason you need to do that is because if you ever want to put gutters on this roof after the new roof is on, that's going to be...
I've pulled off, so they have a 1x here right at the eave. Right, this piece of wood here, oh my god, like just, you have a completely clogged gutter. This area is just soaking wet all the frickin' time, right? It, like, having just a clogged gutter here, it's just moist, and the 1x4 that you see at this edge just disintegrates.
A real pain because your metal's going to end up overhanging way too far,
and also too, the chipboard or the OSB or the plywood that's underneath these shingles here, 9 times out of 10 is completely rotted out. So whatever you're laying your shit on is just mush. So I mean, not plank roofing. I mean, you guys do what you guys got to do. You know what works best for you and your company and what you're willing to, do. This is just observations I'm making. I could be way off the fucking base here, but
it's going to be pretty much pointless to put a gutter on there. And then, first of all, put your trim on. So generally drip edge comes first, and then we like to put the rake trims. These things right here, we like to put those on first before the metal, especially on a steep roof. That way you can slide your metal underneath it and you don't have to worry about installing that later. So drip edge,
okay, nice.
Corner trims, and then valleys if there is any, or sidewall or end wall trims.
That's pretty cool. I like how they do that, where they install their trims first. Pretty smart. We do that in standing seam as well. But yeah, it's comfortable to do trims like that.
1x4s, and then you
kind of hard to get your foam your foam closures in, but
metal goes on top of the 1x4.
1x4 goes on first, of course, and after any existing drip edges removed.
Here in the valley,
this little strip here they're putting in, I'm pretty sure that, oh yeah, they got their double 2x or their double 1x in the valley. That's good. You do want that extra support in the valley, but they also have this seal. This is, I believe it's called EM seal, at least where I'm from. It's supposed to expand.
Double 1x4, about 3 inches apart in the valley.
I'm not sure what this stuff
that
is.
That gives us plenty of surface to sit on top of. I like to close.
Also, valleys installed. I want to know, they got this nail here on the far right here. How are they gonna do like a proper lap? Unless they got to remove that nail to shove this panel up, throw the nail back in,
that off a little bit, and then we put
nice
this
closure off on that
sealer strip. It's called M seal in the valley, and we run our metal 3 inches back from the edge of the valley. Like
I thought M seal expanded.
So, and then you.
I thought it expanded like inside of these flutes.
Screw just above your sealer strip when you're screwing your valley sheets down.
Look at that.
Another thing we like to do on a re-roof like this, we like to use at least 2-inch screws. Normally use 2-inch or 2.5-inch screws actually, and that will allow the screw to go all the way through the 1x4 and into the roof deck below the shingles, and it's helped really bring everything together. Normally the way we put screws in is we'll put a screw beside every rib on the bottom, and then we'll skip a row where we only do every other one, and then the next one we'll screw beside every rib, and we'll skip another one. It just depends on where you live. Some places require you to put a screw beside every rib every 2.
I'd like to know, what do you guys think of putting screws in the high rib? I feel like these are just in the, like the water traffic, I call it, in where water travels, but I get it also to expansion and contraction, but what do you call it? The manufacturers around here say to throw it on the high rib. I don't know. What do you guys think? Throw it in the comments.
2 foot or however you space your 1x4s. But that's generally how we screw our metal.
Okay, see how we got the valley here. Cool. So he's got the valley shooting in between 2 flutes, which I'm sure was planned, right? Because if this flute down here hits anywhere but like anywhere from here to here, it's not gonna. I've seen it end. I've seen guys try to end with their rib. They didn't plan it out. This was very well executed, because that rib slides underneath that kind of overhang cavity, and the flat area is where the spillage coming from this valley is coming out nice and clean. Water stays between the two ribs. Won't migrate over to the right into the sidewall. You know, all that shit. This is
Then when you have all your metal on,
executed.
it's time for a ridge cap. Now, on the end of the ridge cap, we like to take it and go in 1.25 inches.
Malco, yeah, baby.
On every one of these bend points.
Okay, these snips, I got these snips. They're sick. Amazon. Just for the end. Just for the gable end.
You'll take and bend these ears in.
1.25 inches you started with.
And we'll go ahead and cut these off on a little bit of an angle.
Oh, those
bend this down.
Are so nice.
Bend that down. Nip these bottom corners off if they need to be nipped.
Yeah.
And there you have it.
Oh, nice.
Hope you can see that okay, but that closes the end off really nice. Otherwise, you'd have a gap up along there, and bees could get in there, so that'll close that off really nice. We also do kind of the same thing with our corner trim.
Oh, that's
gives it a nice finished look.
Rake trim.
Next, we'll flip it around and put some of this foam strip on the bottom.
That we don't have from where I am. Foam strip on the bottom. So I'm guessing this follows the profile.
This is called Univent, and basically what it does is it'll seal off in between the ribs. It's supposed to keep things out of the ridge.
Okay.
Yet it's breathable, so it allows air venting through the ridge.
Oh wow, okay, so it breathes through the flutes. Ridge cap installed, we'd like to put a screw in every rib. Yep. Yeah, it's a high wind prone area, right? So you want to make sure that ridge ain't going anywhere, because that shit flies off. That's gonna. Okay, there's that nice finished edge he's got there. What he prepped on the ground. It's good. Nice and clean. Yeah, you see he's got that. Let's go back. Oops. Let's go back to here. Get to see the other valve. Yeah, see that he plans it this way, right? Plank roofing, well done. I like that. It's a minor detail, but it does require some planning. We got the W valley. You got the super steep pitch coming into what looks to be a 412. I don't know, maybe it's the fisheye lens, but that's looking like an 1112, 1212. So you got some massive water traffic coming, and this W valley, this crease that is put into the valley, really stops water migration coming across the valley underneath these panels. Nice. I do like W valley for that. Standing seam, it sucks, but okay, what do we got?
Alright, well, it's getting dark, so I'm going to call it for this video. Hope you guys learned something and this educational.
I did, yeah.
Till next time, thanks for watching. Bye.
Plank Grooving, go subscribe.
Hello everyone,
they do some
in this
clean
video
work.
I'm going to be showing you how to install a valley flashing that comes into a pitch change. And here's what I mean by that. So here we've...
Oh, hey, by the way, I guess, oh yeah, I'm on a, what do you call it, a playlist. So let's just watch one more and then
got
let's see what he's
a valley that comes up to your...
Yeah, this is why I fucking hate W Valley, because of how bullshit it is to miter them together and like to have it 100%
and keeps on going up. So we're gonna
wait a minute. Hold on.
That comes up to your pitch change, switches angle and keeps on.
Oh, okay. Sorry guys. Hey, you know what? I've done this. Okay, you know what?
Going up.
Oh, he's doing some standing seam too. This is not.
So we're going to be installing the pitch change flashing into
here.
these two valleys. So I'm going to show you how to join
such a pain in the
that all
ass.
together.
You know, yeah, you know, plank boys.
So
some
here
work
we've got a standing seam pitch change flashing. It's got like a J channel on the bottom for the bottom porch roof pieces. Then on the top, it's got the hem for the top pieces. This is an already installed roof. The log home.
Let's go back. I'm not gonna pin it too hard here because this excuse me, this transition flashing. You know, let's say guilty of it, but I've used these in the past as well. Some have given me problems, some haven't. Really depends on a few things, you know, where the roof is. I don't know how much the plank roofing, how much snow plank roofing gets.
Porch roof pieces. On the top.
There's just, you know, there's just. I have a video on the channel where it shows the transition twist. So for you know, if he's doing snap lock though, he can't do the twist. So if you're doing snap lock, this is the way to fly. You cannot do a twist in transition panel transition detail. You have to do this.
It's got the hem for the top pieces. This is an.
I'm thinking he's doing some snap lock.
The log.
It's just that
home builder.
That valley transition is pretty.
Added some insulation.
Let's see. Let's see how he does. Let's see what he does.
Here.
It's just that I don't know what's going on here. It's hard to know what I'm looking at here.
So
let's watch.
They added some more insulation, and we're having to redo some of this metal here.
Redo some of the metal. Okay. So this valley, plank. This valley is not your valley. So you've ripped apart this.
So
leaking.
Having to rework this a little bit. Could be a little bit tricky, but basically the idea is to get the bottom valley runs up underneath this a pretty good ways, and the pitch change is going to run over top of the bottom one, all the way across, and then get bent up and run into the hem of this bottom valley. And then the top valley is going to come over top of the pitch change. So it's all going to be like shingle on top of each other to make the water flow over everything. Unfortunately, I don't have a tripod, so I can't really film the process of doing it, but I can kind of walk you through the steps and how I do it as I go. So first of all, here you can see I've got a line where I want my pitch change flashing to sit. So I know where that needs to be, so I can just push it up to the line. And from there, this part is going to go over the top of the middle, all the way across. So I'm going to have to figure out what my angle is here and bend that up. And then what I'm going to do is cut in.
See, this would be a lot cleaner if you just had just normal valley, just a single bend valley, not the W flashing. Because the W flashing adds so much complexity into an already complex scenario. So where we're like having a single bent valley, I know the rest of the house is W, but like single bent valley, that's a more simplistic valley, is it's a little bit nicer to work with. Right here, in scenarios like this.
Left-handed snips so that the top part goes up and the bottom part goes down, and it's going to get bent up underneath this whole valley here.
Yeah,
okay, so now I've got my angle figured out. So now this needs to get bent up 3 inches in order to come across here and shoot up underneath this hem.
Okay, so it's going underneath. Malco! Let's go, Malco! Fucking love those snips. Not a huge fan of these folders. Gonna have to get some Stubai deep throats on there.
So now I've got this in place where I want it there. Got that bent up, run underneath the hem there. That's really nice. Now I just gotta mark this in here. The standing seam panel that comes up on top of this is gonna be hemmed in this valley. So I want that to run all the way up underneath there. So that's why I'm not just leaving it.
It's almost like you could just leave that the way it is, and at the top of this panel, angle the hem all the way up so you have the bread pan going all the way across.
The way it is right there.
Yeah, because he's going to cut off the...
Make this all nice and watertight.
I mean,
and install it.
We're nitpicking,
then
but...
I'm going to have to splice a short piece over there into that sidewall because it would have been kind of a pain to get.
Yeah, I think they had to rip this apart because those flashings look pretty brutal, and what he's doing here looks pretty clean.
Try to make this all one.
I don't think that flashing's
so
his work.
It about in the middle.
Yeah, fill her up, bud. Get that translucent in there. Here we go. Nice. Done that too. Good.
Okay, now I've got it screwed in place.
Yep.
Got it tucked underneath there really nice.
Yeah.
It's looking really good underneath there.
Just lay that.
It goes underneath that hem all the way up to about where it stops. So that's really good. Now I just gotta trim this back.
With this valley?
So this hem meets up with this hem. Fasten it down.
Yeah, whoever did that valley
here, and
it wasn't him who did the valley. Whoever did that valley before.
And then put this piece in over here. It's gonna get bent up.
It was a Friday. I like to call them Friday valleys.
And then I'll be done.
Okay, this is a different valley on the other side of the roof, but it shows the finished product. Okay. Had to do 3 of these on this roof, yeah. I mean, it turned out pretty good. I mean, it's clean. It's he took the original valley and closed it off, so it's nice, and he hooked up these hook-ons together. I mean, he's making a nice situation out of a really shitty situation. So well done. I think it's gonna work great. Yeah, he's got the lines in there. Yeah, looks good. And here's another one we did earlier this year. Yeah, interesting detail. Yeah, that W valley is so freaking hard to work with, but that's really cool, man. I like that. Cool. Yeah, man. Blank Roofing. Check them out.